Hey guys, Jack from Blitz Growth. Super excited to bring this amazing episode with Danie to you about how she turned her DIY projects into a huge success with monetizing her YouTube, Patreon, merch, all these different ways that she does collaborations and partnerships. There is so much amazing content in here that I still wanted to publish this, even though we had some issues recording the video. Not that you really need to see our faces because all the value is in the audio, but I still want to just apologize for not having the visuals to accommodate. Enjoy this episode. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave some comments if you have questions around the DIY space or how to grow your hobby into a passion, or also just in general, how to monetize your content creation or hobby, which Danie has done an unbelievable job at. So enjoy this episode. Let us know what you think. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Blitz Growth. Super excited to have our guest here today. Danie is going to be sharing some awesome value bombs with us, and I've got some crazy questions to ask her about her amazing journey. Danie is a curious creative in the DIY space and crafts amazing content for people to learn from online. She has created an impressive following with 49,000 plus Instagram followers and 240,000 YouTube subscribers, which is a huge amount. So it's very, very impressive. And today we're going to dive into how she creates amazing videos that get 1 million plus views, and also how she generates revenue to make her hobby her full-time gig and lives out the dream that we all want of doing what we love every day. So Danie, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. And so when I kind of discovered you on YouTube, I was very, very impressed with the quality of your videos, your teaching, your passion, and the personality that you put into these. So my first question I love to ask people is, what is your kind of introductory kind of intro when you meet someone at a party or an event or on the street? What do you tell people that you do, or what do you kind of say, hey, this is how I help other people?
Oh my God, it's the most awkward question. And I'm so awkward about this on the street when people are like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, well, yeah, I create stuff and I put it on the internet. They're like, oh, you're the YouTubers? And I was like, well, I like content creation because we're on different platforms. But I normally do say that I turned my creativity into a full-time job. I'm a content creator that builds my content to help people create confidence through the magic of creativity. That's my goal. And whether or not, you just feel a little bit more intrigued to pick up a tool and build something in your home, or you just thoroughly enjoy watching me every Saturday, make a fool of myself or make something really cool, that's all I hope to gain from my content creation.
Yeah, so give us a little background on how you got into DIY. Why did you choose to make a YouTube channel about DIY? It's kind of a interesting niche to go into.
It is an interesting niche, but I think the reason why I love DIY so much, and I think a lot of people can resonate with this, is that I was living in just weird basement apartments for most of my 20s, and they're just filled with weird nooks and crannies, and you have to be space conscious and really think about the things that you put in your home. But at the same time, I was dirt poor. So I had to come up with creative ways to make my home look good, but also to function. So it kind of had to have a duo function. So I was coming up with solutions on how to make my space look good, how to actually make it functional for me on a daily basis. So I started just kind of like building things in behind my couch, or building a table in my small, tiny kitchen that can fold down to give me more space. And they didn't look great at the time, but over time, and as my confidence started to build in the creation space, I definitely got better. And then, so I was always kind of like a crafty DIYer for a very long time. My past before I was a YouTuber, I I went to school for film and television, so I was producing digital content in the digital landscape for a very long time for other big brands. And I just, over the course of creating and storytelling, I just realized that I had a story to tell inside of me. And I just really genuinely love to DIY more than anything in the world. And when I thought about putting those two worlds together for myself, I was like, why not? So I just took a chance, went for it, and here we are.
Nice. That's amazing. And I think we love finding people who just love doing what they do all day, every day, and make
I love it.
a business out of it. But yeah, the next question would be like, when did you start and how long did it actually take you to make your first, let's say $1,000 from, doing your own DIY content creation?
Yeah, it is a really tough ride to get over that little hump, because it's like it can be a grind just to get there. I got very, very lucky because I just had one of those, anomaly one hit wonder videos at the beginning of my YouTube career that just soared my channel. Like, I think overnight I went from 13K following to 30K following. And for someone who's been like grinding over a little bit of time, that jump was massive. And it's really what kickstarted, the algorithm of my YouTube channel to really start allowing other people to see my content. I had no idea it was going to happen, but I built this awesome kind of IKEA Hack Apothecary piece, and it just took off. And it's kind of been one of those. It still is one of those anomaly videos. I don't think I've ever been able to recreate that success like every creator hopes with their one hit wonders. But a girl can dream. The right idea at the right time. But yeah, that's really what did it. But, I think, it is a grind, but you genuinely have to love it. You have to be having fun while doing it, because the day that you stop having fun is the day you should never be making content. And that's my advice to every content creator out there who asks for it, is that you have to be having fun, because it is time consuming. It does consume your life. It is a grind. So you have to love it. And if you're not, then you got to get out and find a better way to do it,
Okay. And then how long were you creating content, like on this YouTube channel, for example, or maybe an Instagram account? How long were you kind of creating content and actively trying to grow it before that kind of big IKEA hack video took off?
I was doing this for about a year. I think it took about a year. And I was doing a part-time job in between. When I decided to quit my old job and go do YouTube full time, I did have like a part-time job. I was helping out on production sets as like a production assistant, like doing very like minimal jobs. I was actually helping my friend, who is another YouTuber, behind the scenes for her channel. And so I was learning a lot from her too. But I think, it took about a good year before I felt like the channel was finally finding its general flow. And also within your content, I think when it comes to content creation and what people subscribe to, I think people genuinely love consistency. So, there's always those taglines or those things that everyone's like, oh my God, you have to do that every episode, or it feels like I'm not watching the right YouTube channel, As an example, in my videos, at the beginning of all my videos, I always go boop. And people love the boop. They want the boop. And if I don't boop, they're very upset about not having the boop. But those are those little consistency things that your audience grabs onto that become kind of like your trademarks. And I think over time, it takes time to learn those type of trademarks about your content. So I think once those things start to take off and those consistencies start to see them in your content, I think that creates a better flow for you as a creator,
Yeah, super interesting. And then I would say like the main revenue that you started generating was once you kind of had that viral video. Is that kind of like the first way that you started generating revenue as a content creator through the YouTube?
Yeah.
I think not the revenue split, but the YouTube ad revenue.
The AdSense, yeah. Yeah, at the beginning, I was definitely, it was all through AdSense. I was creating a little bit of money off of my website. Not much though. Nothing, nothing but a cup of coffee coming out of that. But yeah, it was mostly my AdSense, and then over time I decided to take on a few brand deals by myself, and then kind of made the conscious decision that I was going to join an MCN, a multi-channel network. I think they have different names now because it's not just one thing, but and partnering with a brand manager to really kind of vet for me and find brands that wanted to work with me was a huge game changer within my content creation and making money. I think if you want to build your channel, build a team behind your channel, you have to find revenue sources beyond just the YouTube. Like they always say, like you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You have to find these other forms and other ways to do things. And it's nice that we have social media at arm's reach now, that we can do brand deals not only on YouTube, but we're doing them on Instagram. You can do them on TikTok now, Facebook, whatever, depending on where the brand's trying to reach. And I think, yeah, and there's other platforms too that content creators can now make money, which is like the Patreons of the world, which I have a Patreon, and they're just a massive support. It does require more work on your end as a creator, but I think ultimately, yes, it makes you money. The community it creates behind you is far more important than the money you're making, but it is another place of revenue that you can think of, merch too. I started a merch line, which was really helpful in making some extra cash flow. And it didn't require any money from my side to do that merch. The startup is $0, so every content creator should do it. There's no reason for it. And should you make $50 a month, $100 a month, maybe more, then that's $100 that you didn't have. You know what I mean, in your pocket. So, yeah, if it doesn't cost you any money to start something up, then do it. If the overhead's zero, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think there's a few amazing learnings from that. So one, for all the content creators out there who are sort of just getting started, like keep a part-time job while you're getting your channels up and running and your socials up and running. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people make. They're like, I'm going all in. I'm going to quit everything and focus 100% on creating my videos. Yeah. And I think what we've noticed from a bunch of the people we've interviewed is that a lot of them actually ease their way into it by having a part-time job. Yeah. And then their content creation slowly taking over that part-time job.
Yeah. Well, you have to determine how much does it cost for you to live on a monthly basis. Figure out that number and plus some, and then that's the number that once you're making that with that part-time gig, that's when you decide, okay, I'm going to go full time. And you're seeing a consistency. Like if it's the first time it happens, I wouldn't say let's jump off the cliff right now. Don't do it. Like see some consistency, like a 3-month or a 6-month period. If you're consistently making that amount of money plus some, that I would say, yes, then go and start your full-time gig. Like I was terrified to go full-time, but it was a bit of a leap. The reason why I went full-time was I was able to make that amount of money, and I had a brand deal that was like coming up that was going to like supplement me for a few months. So I knew, okay, doing the math, okay, I can survive the next 4 months, and if I can hustle, which it is a hustle, if I can hustle, find more brand deals to supplement that, then I can keep going. So there are chances that you have to be willing to take. It's not, if you go the safe route, the safe road being, all right, I'm going to figure out how much I make a month, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm always making that for the next 6 months, and then maybe I'll go full time for a few months, give it a try. You can do that. Will you grow? I mean, yes, you will, but I think that there has to be a little bit of a hustle in you to be able to make it on YouTube. That's just something that I've learned about myself, is like, you got to want it. That's it. Yeah. It doesn't come easy.
The passion's got to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, super really interesting. And then you said the brand deals were a very big part of you being able to turn, that hobby into a full-time gig. And you also mentioned that you were working with someone to generate those brand deals for you. Did you start doing it yourself? And how did you kind of like find brands, or did they find you? How did that kind of get started? So someone who's maybe hasn't done any brand deals yet, started creating some content, maybe had some good videos, some
Yep.
traction on their channels. Like, what was the starting point for you in starting to work with other brands?
What I found helpful was finding people in my community who are also content creators, reaching out to them, starting conversations with people. Like, find your people in your community. If you're in the DIY space, find DIYers who are doing what you're doing. Say hello, get to know them, ask them questions. Like, most content creators, like, if anyone comes to me asking for questions, I'm always happy to give advice in the best way that I can. I think asking them, oh, I see you work with Home Depot. Like, how did you, and then ask them, how did you start? Because for me, like, it was through a friend who I was able to get a contact, then reached out myself saying, hey, just want to introduce myself. So interested in working with your brand and would love to create a collaboration in the future. Should you be looking for it? I'm here, I'm ready, and give them kind of a
Nice.
deck of who you are and tell them what kind of what could an integration look like if they were to collab with you. Because I think brands need to kind of be able to see what does that look like if they're going to, come on board with you and support you. So I think finding people in your community is going to be your best ally, if you're big or small. Always suggest it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really interesting strategy of like finding other people who are already working with the brands and then
Yes.
getting introductions that way. Because I think that's probably a lot more successful than just doing cold outreach to some of these companies. Because I'm sure these companies get thousands of people asking them questions and wanting things every day. So that's a super clever way of doing it.
Tagging brands, I think, are also a really great way. If you're, say, if you're a DIYer and you really want to work with Ryobi and you're always using the Ryobi brand, I think like going and tagging them and messaging them, like DMing them on Instagram and saying, hey, would love to know how I can get in touch with your PR team to do future collaborations. Those people will answer. They will get to you. It's like a hit or miss on that. I will say, though, I've actually reached out a few brands sometimes that way, and it is a hit or miss. I mean, sometimes it's, an employee, a small fry employee that's running the YouTube social channel, but that doesn't mean that they can't get you to the person that you are looking for. Or websites sometimes can find it, but honestly, I genuinely believe that it's like that word of mouth kind of thing, and getting the right contact will really help you in the long run. But yeah, I think tagging the brands that you want to work with and understanding who you want to work with and who's working with them already. What are they doing? What are they building? How does the brand collaborate with them? Like, do your research, do your homework, and figure that out first. And reach out to the creators because they are willing to help.
No, that's another great way. I suppose that way you're showing some of the things you can do for the brand before you even get the deal. So you're like, hey, I'm already committed. And it probably makes the decision a lot easier for them.
For sure. And you could even say, hey, maybe it's not for money at the beginning. I mean, I always think that you should be paid for what you sell. Just a rule of thumb. But in terms of like, if you're going to work with a brand, I think brands should always pay the creator. I don't believe in this like, well, just do this shout out for us and, do a paid advertisement for us for free. It just feels icky to me. I think that any creator, if they're taking time out of their day to go and create something for another brand, you should be compensated in some way. And sometimes that is with product, and that's okay. I've done lots of paid product integrations for a shout out kind of thing. And if that works at the beginning, sometimes that's a great way to get in with a brand and create a relationship. So if it is a tool brand, you can reach out to the tool company and say like, hey, I'd love to start using more of your tools. Could you send me some? And I'll tag you every time. I'll show them in my videos. You start that, that kind of communication with the brand. And then over time, then bigger things will come and they'll see you kind of as an ambassador of this brand because you use it all the time. You're tagging them all the time. They'll reshare your content. So I think there's a lot of value in asking for free stuff or ways to, rep their brand at the beginning and just kind of find that collaboration in a small way, especially at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the first one's the hardest. I assume like
Yeah.
once you sort of get in the groove of things and you do a few,
Yeah.
it gets easier.
But understanding your worth is also a really big thing that I think all creators have a hard time with. And like the questioning of like, well, what am I worth? How much is like, should an Instagram post cost? You know, and there are lots of websites that can help you with that, like this, you know, social book or blue book, or I can't remember what it's called. Um, you know, there are websites that can help primarily show you, but that is why I was awful. Honestly, oh my God, Jack, I was awful at like giving myself a self-worth. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that for $100 when I was like, what are you doing, Danie? Like, no. My first brand deal, I will tell you, was $100. Okay. I laugh at
Nice.
myself now. Like, just what were you thinking? And the problem, not that I'm saying that accepting a deal for $100 is a bad thing, but I also think that if you say, oh, I'll do this for $100, the brand will come back and be like, well, we did the last one for $100. So why wouldn't you do it again? Kind of thing. Like you have to, you're going to be constantly fighting for your worth as a creator. And understanding that I think is going to be big. And if you know about yourself that you are not good at advocating for yourself, which I was not, I'm such a pushover. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for $100, no problem. That's when you want to find brand managers. They will fight for your worth, and they take away that communication from you and the brand to create a little bit of a space so that you have the ability to do what you want to do best, and they get what they want. And there's somebody to mediate that kind of conversation when things get a little spicy, you know, when it comes down to cost or fighting for your worth. So that's why I
Yeah.
think brand
It's probably a
managers
huge
always.
time saver too.
Yes, yes, you can spend hours on email going back and forth with people. Yeah, it's huge. I always
Mm.
recommend, and you don't have to join an MCN to get a brand manager. There are lots of people out there who are, you know, run their own businesses. You know, it's one person, and I think those work just as fine. But yeah.
And for those people listening who don't know what an MCM is, what is an MCM and how does that work? And what kind of advantage is it for joining one for a content creator?
So an MCN stands for multi-channel network. Like I said, I think they kind of call themselves something different now because it's not just a network, but it is, in a sense, what they do is in the most blatant like term. I'm sure it's much more colorful now, but what they do is they kind of mediate and represent you as a creator when it comes to dealing with brands. So depending on which MCN you're dealing with, there's a lot of different ways that you can partner with these companies. Some of them offer like just you get on their roster. So if you're on their roster, a brand comes to them and they say, oh, I know somebody who would be really great for that campaign. Then you're on the roster and they'll reach out to you. And if that is, most likely they'll take 30% or 25% of that brand deal amount, and then you get the rest for managing the deal. And then in other ways, then MCNs will, you can become a full-time member, and what they do is they advocate for you. They are out there pitching you to brands. You know, you create a relationship. They become your managers. So, you know, you say, oh, I really want to work with, you know, like Home Depot. So they'll reach out to Home Depot and see if we can make a partnership through that. And they'll manage that deal. They also, I think the biggest thing when it comes to MCNs, which is the great part about it, or brand managers at large, is that they deal with all the contracts. So often there are little tiny words in those contracts that can screw over you as a creator, you know, locking you into 6 months deals, not, you know, making that you can't work with anybody in that genre for, you know, up to a year. So brand managers or MCNs, they can be there to help read those contracts and make sure that you are getting the best deal that you possibly can. Again, they're also advocating for you in terms of making sure that you are getting what you're worth on social. So I think that there is a lot of benefit when it comes to multi-channel networks. Also, a lot of brands like working with multi-channel networks or brand managers that have a reputation behind them, because it means it's going to be a clean deal. And what I mean by that, it's like it's very easy. Here's what we want. Here's the contract. Oh, here, let's let you know. Like they'll talk about a couple deal points. Great, everyone signs. The creator goes, does what they want. It's just a very easygoing, smooth process, and everyone walks away happy. It isn't always the case when you're dealing straight to a brand, because I think brand managers can also, if a brand comes and asks, well, can you just throw in an extra thing here? Or like, can you do this? Then that person can be there to be like, no, unfortunately, that wasn't per the contract. It takes that conversation away from the creator, thus then creating a better relationship for you for the future. So should it be a bad experience, at least the experience was, you were removed from that bad experience to say that maybe that brand could come back to you again.
Got it.
There's that also hope.
Like
There's so much more that they do, but I mean, that's kind of in like the smallest nutshell that I can bring. But I think when it comes to contracts, it's the biggest pro point that I can come up with and think about.
Got it. And then when you're looking for an MCN, how do you find these, or even a brand manager, how do you find these people? And then how do you choose a good one?
Ooh, I mean, that's a tough, how do you find them? I mean, you can search for them. I mean, they're out there. Again, I always say, find people that you look up to in the creator space and find out who they're working with. I mean, I know I'm kind of feeling redundant about that, but I think if you find people that you love what they're doing and you love how they're working and they're creating content, reach out to them and find out or do some research. Who are they working with? And then reach out and say, hey, I'm thinking about, reaching out to Kin, like, cause I work with Kin community. Like, how are you feeling about it? Like, do you enjoy working with them? And people have come to me asking those questions, and we've had those conversations. And I just think that's the way you're going to get an honest review. It's like reading the reviews underneath the product. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of do some research and figure out what's right for you. And reading through the contracts. I mean, once you do get conversations with these places, make sure, you read the contract and make sure it's what's right for you, because a lot of these MCNs will, depending on how you work with them, they could take a piece of your revenue, your YouTube revenue back end, because they're representing you. So you have to do things that feel comfortable to you and never put yourself in a position that you don't feel you're ready for. But talk to other creators, find people you look up to. What are they doing? Ask them questions. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, that's super great advice for people trying to get to that next stage of having someone to help support them with finding and creating those deals. Because as you said, I think a lot of the time the content creator's skill set isn't necessarily in negotiation, brand deals, and legal contracts.
I didn't go to school for that. I mean, I went to school for film and television. Reading legal contracts is like literally reading hieroglyphs. Like it's a whole other world. And they make that jargon very hard to understand for a reason. It's like, why? It's not clear 100%. Sometimes. So you got to be careful, but there is no right answer. I mean, unfortunately, Jack, like I don't think there is a clean way to find, what's right for you. I think you just have to, I think things like this naturally and organically happen as a creator, things, or these places will reach out to you. If you're interested and you're making a wave in the social space. I think it's just, and a lot of these people have social media too. All these MCNs, they have their own social media. So you could probably reach out to them that way too, feel a little redundant, but it is the truth.
No, you've got to be repetitive and to make it stick.
Trying to hit it home.
My next question would be...
Sorry, go ahead.
My next question would be, out of all the different ways that you've kind of monetized, what has been the most successful one for you, do you think?
Brand deals, 100%. It's 100% the most consistent thing. And I think without brand deals, I don't think I could run my channel the way that I want to. I wish there were more, to be honest, but there is a balance, because you don't want every single video that you do to come out be like one long commercial every single time. I mean, there is a balance in your content calendar that you should create, for some gaps, just to give your audience a bit of a breather. So you're not trying to like put things down there, like in front of them all the time. But yeah, I think brand deals have been probably the most consistently the best moneymaker for my business at large.
Got it. And then do you think brand deals are getting easier or harder for content creators to get and manage and monetize from?
I mean, I want to say harder, and I only say because the market is changing all the time. This year alone, I think the market is constantly changing. I mean, it's been a rough couple years, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of things are changing within our market. As an example, in the DIY space, lumber has been very expensive. It's been absurd to be it's a very expensive ride to be in the DIY space right now, especially if you build things like I do. So it's just, I think it's always going to be changing. I don't think there ever will be a right answer for this. But I do think that there are always smaller brand deals out there that you can collaborate with brands, and I talk about like native deodorants and the audibles and the square spaces. Like, you see those a lot on the YouTube and I think those are a little bit, I call those like the easy brand deals, because they don't take a lot of out of your day. They're not the bigger campaigns, you know what I mean? You can slide them into any content piece ever. It's not as integrated. Once the brand deal is a little bit more integrated, like I am using this product to create this DIY, that's when it gets a little bit more challenging. And I think that's when the integrations are a little bit harder to come by. But those are the brand deals I think I like the most, because it feels a little bit more organic,
A bit more unique too.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how have you found, using tools like Patreon that are creating kind of like paid communities? I know you said that was kind of helpful, but what's been the challenges of that? And then what's been the pros of that?
I will start by saying that I absolutely love my Patreon. I think I was kind of hesitant to start my Patreon, but it has been one of the most beautiful and rewarding spaces that I've created as a content creator. And I say that because the people that have come forward through the Patreon, they've become like what feels like a little DIY family. Like, it's a community, this like little community that has naturally grown, and we talk to each other all on a daily basis, and we all have similar likes and dislikes, and we share this because part of my Patreon, there's a Discord, which is like basically a chat platform that everyone can communicate on and share photos and share their DIY projects and share fails. We do challenges on my Patreon. So once a quarter, we'll do like something to cause creativity to happen and push people out of their boundaries. So it's been, I'd say, more of a pro in my life than anything. I love it to pieces. I guess the con, in a sense, to Patreon is that, as a content creator, I mean, I work 7 days a week. So you have to make sure that you are providing what you promise to offer, because people are paying a fee for something. And if you're not delivering, then the jig is up. People are going to leave. They're not going to want to join. And you just have to be realistic if you start a Patreon and make sure that your intentions are in the right place. For me, Patreon was never about making money. Patreon for me was about I've always wanted to create a community of people to come together to be able to talk about DIY and share successes. Like, I am a person, I'm very lucky that I get to go online every week and share my creativity and have everyone go, wow, that's amazing. Oh, I love this project. That's so great. Or, oh, hate that, depending on how they feel about my creativity that week. But I was always like, that's such a great validating feeling for creative people. It's fun to share your projects. And sometimes you get tired of just sharing things with mom, like, hey, mom, look what I made, So I just wanted a place where people could also feel that validation and come together and
Okay.
share a passion. Because, I mean, you have all these followers who are clearly sharing a passion of yours, which is DIY and home. Why wouldn't they want to come over and celebrate that with you? So yeah, Patreon for me was more about the community that I wanted to create, not about the cost. But at the same time, the things that you're offering, it does take time out of your day. And I hired somebody to help me run my Patreon to make sure that I was meeting those demands. So I have someone who works part-time with me to make sure that things go up and make sure that I'm remembering to do certain things. But most of the time, it's been pretty easy. I thought it would be harder on my schedule, but I actually find myself genuinely loving creating content for them, specialty content and whatnot. So it's been a great experience. Highly suggested for all creators. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I definitely see the group. Like, I think it started out at Facebook groups, and it's kind of moved into like these paid Patreon groups and that sort of thing, where it's been your true core fans.
Yeah.
What are the things that you're doing to keep the Patreon engagement up? So I know you said you do challenges, you post exclusive content.
Yeah.
What else is involved in running a Patreon account?
Well, I try to do weekly. Sometimes it's bi-weekly, but I do weekly catch-up videos. So it's way less produced than my normal YouTube channel. Like, I literally am a one-take wonder. There's no music, there's no audio, because I told myself, or there is audio, sorry, but I told myself if I'm going to do these things, I have to be less less worrisome about the production value and more about what you're offering them. So it's showing people another side of you, letting them into your life a little bit more. So I do these bi-weekly upload videos where I just tell people where I'm at. I'm sitting at a table sometimes, I'm just, planting something, or I'm just doing something in my house, and I'll just pop up the camera and start talking to people. What's going on? What's behind the scenes? I give people.
You do that live, or is that a recording?
It's a recording, but I tell you, it's a one-take wonder. Like, I literally turn the camera on, and if I mumble or jumble or drop the camera, like, it's all there. It all stays. I literally take the card out of the camera, put it in the computer, and upload it to YouTube. That is a very scary thing for me, is like, because I'm a person who heavily produces their content. And what I mean by that is, like, I watch cuts. I make my editors removing a lot of my ums, ahs, and, my swearing, or, to make my channel PG friendly, or, just things that don't need to be there. Like, it's literally an uncut version of yourself, letting your audience into a new side of you. So, on my channel, I feel like I'm predominantly, a very positive person. And I try to be positive and show everyone, you make mistakes. There's always a positive side to that. So I think them being able to see that, I'm not always positive. I mean, I definitely am, but there's always there's more layers to a person than just what they see on YouTube. So I think it's given people a really great insight into who and what my life is like. I don't really talk about personal things on my YouTube or on my social media. My partner, I keep that pretty private, but people get more of an insight on that. So there is a little bit of that. Yes, we run contests, like I said, to build up creativity and promote creativity, because sometimes people want to be creative, but they just don't know how. They don't know what to do. Yeah. So we create these challenges so people guidelines. Yeah, so we create challenges, and it allows people to kind of think outside the box, which is what creativity should be. And people, predominantly are pet people. So we create a place for people to share pet videos and pet pictures because we're all obsessed with their dogs or cats or bunnies. There's hamsters. There's like everyone's got something on there on my Patreon. It's pretty amazing. And, you know, we're geeky people and creating channels that allow people to connect on multiple levels, even if it's not DIY. But creativity has so many layers to it. It's not just building in your home. Creativity is just like it's whatever's inside you. So I just wanted a place where, you know, you could build that for people. And I hope that people stay for the community at large. Sometimes I think the community, I'm like, these people are way cooler than me. I'm just like here chilling and right into people. And I'm like, these guys are so much cooler than me, or talented than me. Like, it's insane what people post. I'm like, why are you watching me on a Saturday morning? God knows, because you're way better than, you don't need me. It's heartbreaking sometimes, but yeah, no, I think to run a Patreon, you have to stay consistent. I do early uploads. So I give my audience a chance to see episodes uncut. So we actually remove, if there's a brand deal, we remove the brand deals out of it. So you get to see a very unbranded, uncut, early access video. No ads. And and the YouTube, I have a separate YouTube channel that I upload all my videos for Patreon to, and it's obviously not monetized. So again, there's no ads at the beginning, nothing, you know, it's a very clean way to watch somebody you love.
Yeah. And is that all private videos on that YouTube channel then? Because I assume you're trying to make it so that only they can watch it. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. I created a brand new channel and just unlist everything. So it's an unlisted channel that nobody can see, and only people who have links to the video can watch. And you get the links through the Patreon for the paid platforms.
Nice. So. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it. So those listening, Patreon or any kind of paid membership, exclusive content, early content, no ad content, challenges, contests, chats and communities, engaging threads, which is aligning interests and people, I suppose, because one of the main goals is to actually connect everybody in the group, not just connect with them between you, but also connect all the other people who are in there. So I think those are a few good takeaways from that. In terms of like just switching to your YouTube channel for a second, like your content, I think, is really, really good. And as you were saying, you kind of said you put a lot of effort into editing it. But what I noticed was your titles of your videos are really interesting and engaging. How do you come up with those titles?
Like the title of what I call my videos?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for saying
interesting.
That. I'm flattered because it's literally I'm so self-conscious about it. Thank you so much for saying that. That's so kind. I don't know. Honestly, it changes a lot. It's, I look at what other creators are doing. I mean, you have to keep an eye on the market. It's like, it's the same thing of what is everyone else? What are people who are succeeding in the space? What are they doing that is successful? What is eye catching, whether it's a thumbnail or the title? I genuinely think that the thumbnail is probably the most important thing of your video. Yes, the metadata is important. Making sure you're tagging properly, giving your title, your video a better title. I think this is like, I mean, we could have a whole video chat about titling of YouTube videos. There's a lot of people who will say, don't put capital letters in the thumbnail, the titles, because it'll hurt your SEO. Only do lowercase. Don't put emojis in there. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, I have no friggin' clue what is the right answer. And I don't think anyone ever truly will, except for the YouTube
I don't even think they know.
Analytics. I don't even think they know. You're right. What I found, the videos that I find do the best are the titles that I find are the ones I spend the least amount of time thinking about. As an example, I think you have to create intrigue. Like when I make a title that says DIY outdoor couch or something, it just doesn't do well. If I say this like fun clickbaity kind of title, like, I accidentally set my backyard on fire or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not a lie because maybe I did in the video, or maybe a small fire happened or whatever. But there is this level of clickbaity. The YouTube channel
Yeah.
Vertasium. He has a really
Hmm.
great episode about this whole topic, about how he created a video
Mm.
up to talking about the basketball that flies down the what was it, like a waterfall or something, and he had titled it
Mm.
just talking about the curvature of something, and then changed the thumbnail, made the title super stupid or something very, very simple, and it literally just exploded. It exploded. So
Wow.
it really did come down to just making it very relatable. I think,
Mm.
yes,
Engaging
people
and interesting.
people are seeking how to do something, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, like I said, we could talk hours about this. I have theories, but I genuinely think that story trumps every single time project. And that's where I'll leave it.
Mm.
Story trumps project.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's a good way to sum it up, because I think people are looking for how to do things, but they're more so looking for how to be entertained.
100%. Which is
Because I
a
think,
really big
yeah,
topic to talk about if we want to get into that world of, like, being a creator and how do you choose your path, because it's a big, big
yeah,
conversation.
yeah. Next episode.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, it could be its whole episode. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to keep you too long, because I know you've got many, many things to do. So maybe we'll do another episode at some point if you're up for it. But
100%.
um, to wrap this up, thank you so much for all the time that you've given. I would love for you to share with everybody how they can learn more about you, what sort of recent projects you're working on, where they can get in touch with you, all of those amazing things.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on YouTube at DIY Danie. I'm also on Instagram at DIY Danie. I have a website. My brand is DIY in Progress.
Yeah.
And right now, what I'm working on is one of the biggest DIY projects I've ever done in my life. I'm building a massive greenhouse in my backyard. It has been humbling
Nice.
and creatively, what's the word I want to use that's kind? It's been a creative journey, I would say, a lot of ups and downs. And all I'm saying, if I'm not
Frustrations,
jacked,
I'm sure.
yeah, if I'm not jacked by the end of this summer, like, I'm going to be truly upset how much dirt I have dug, truly. But I'm, telling that story in a very honest way. I think we often you see a lot of videos out there where someone makes it look so easy. You're like, oh, that greenhouse just went up in 20 minutes and look at it go. Nay. I am showing the true, genuine, true diary of what it took to build this greenhouse as a DIYer. So I think, it's going to be a fun journey that's launching next week, and it's going to be like a 4 or 5 part series. I have no idea yet. It's not even done.
Nice.
So I'm trying to be the most realistic that I can and show people the true inside story. So, so stay tuned. If you want to see me, struggle a lot, then subscribe, join the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think maybe we'll try and do another episode that's more based on your content, because your content's really good, and I think there's a lot that you could probably share on that. And I know this was more sort of like on the business side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really appreciate the time, and would love to do another episode at some point more on the content side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Very
everybody go
passionate
check
about
out. Yeah, everybody go check out Danie's YouTube channel. You'll get a lot of inspiration from there. It's some great content, so go check that out.
Thanks, Jack.
And also, before we hang up, don't forget to subscribe, let us know what you like about these episodes, what you don't like about these episodes. If Danie was a great guest, or if she was a terrible guest, just kidding.
Hey, no, be honest. Be honest. I can handle it.
No, I don't think we've ever got anybody who said, yep, no, don't do guests like that anymore. I don't think we've ever had anybody say that, but I'm waiting for the day. I highly doubt it's
Now
going to be
today's the
Danie.
day. Now that you've said that, today's going to be the day. Being like, no, not again. I'll be like, yeah, fair.
And then I'll be like, too bad, we're doing a second episode.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I love talking about content and how to make content great. So yeah, you let me know.
Will do. But thanks, guys, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Really appreciate all your guys' times tuning in. So have a great rest of the day. And Danie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, we put a bunch of effort into making great content for this YouTube channel, so please hit subscribe, leave us a comment, hit like, and tell a few friends about it.